Yeah. 53, check.
What one is the hose? What's the hose?
Today's flashback story takes place March 21st, 1986, at approximately 1:35 hours in the morning. It was a really cold March morning. I would guess the temperatures were in single digits. Winds were probably ranging between 10 and 20 miles an hour and maybe gusting to 30-35 miles an hour. I was camped out at the Howard Johnson's parking lot on Surface Road when the first calls came in. I had taken up that location because I didn't think the probability of street crime was very high with the weather conditions that were prevalent at the time. The first call that I heard from Boston Fire was reported building fire on Mercer Street. I immediately popped my car into gear and headed down Surface Street towards Boston Street. Before I reached Boston Street, Boston Fire came back on the air, receiving multiple calls for a building fire on Mercer Street. As a news photographer, when you hear that coming from Boston Fire, you put the pedal to the metal, and that's what I did. As I approached Andrew Square on Boston Street, I could see black smoke on the horizon, and I could also see a significant glow on the horizon. I placed a quick call to my number one customer, letting them know that I was on the way to what was going to be a big fire in South Boston, and proceeded to Mercer Street. The fire involved several multiple family houses on Mercer Street. One of the three was completely destroyed and collapsed, while the other two were heavily damaged. Other houses on East 8th Street, Telegraph Street, and Gates Street were also set afire by the blowing embers from the main fire building. These fires were quickly put out by Boston Fire. Around 10 to 15 minutes into the event, my video camera battery went dead, so I had to return to my truck, pick up a new battery, and then come back to the scene. When I went to change the batteries in my camera, my hands were so cold that I had difficulty using keys to get into my vehicle, and then I had more difficulty trying to change the battery because my hands were just about frozen, and it was very difficult to handle anything that was small, like a key or like a plug. The power company was called in to kill the electric service to the area because wires were shorting out and a danger to the firemen. This is a good picture of the tree that fell on the firemen as a result of the building collapse. Fire Commissioner Leo Stapleton, who was a South Boston resident, was directing fire operations at the scene. Fire Commissioner Stapleton had also ordered police and other fire units to patrol the area because of the blowing embers from the fire. When I made it back to the scene, the main fire building had just collapsed. When the main fire building collapsed, it pushed out into the street and hit a large dead tree, which then toppled over and pinned 2 Boston firemen underneath it. Firefighter John Burden was seriously injured by the tree, and firefighter Edward Connolly was seriously injured and died shortly thereafter from his injuries from the tree. In the freezing cold air, water from the hoses very quickly froze on the ground, making any kind of movement very difficult. This is the tree that did all the damage. Well, anyhow, that's our flashback story for today. To see the actual video on this event, click on the link below, and that'll take you right to it. Once you're there, if you want to come back here, click on the link beneath that video that says return. If you find these videos interesting, click on the like button. That would be appreciated. And you could also subscribe if you want to be updated when new videos are put up. Well, anyhow, that's it for today. Keep the rubber side down. Stay safe out there. Remember, there's danger everywhere. And also, remember, I'll be back.